welcome, 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 welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the idea of Kintsugi, the Japanese art of restoring broken things with gold and lacquer and making things really beautiful from brokenness and the philosophy around that. And then we're going to invite as a guest speaker, she won't actually be here, but I'll tell you her work. Oh, I left her book in my study. Brené Brown, hold on, I'll get it. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Okay. Daring Greatly, How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. So we're going to look at vulnerability and shame because I think it's such a wonderful link, because how can we repair all the broken bits and make this beautiful, reform ourselves beautifully if we're not facing the shame and the vulnerability and the horror that went with all that created the brokenness in the first place. And then stay with me, because I've got a wonderful tip for you and a wonderful starting point that has helped me and countless others. So let's get this done. Let's get this done, my darlings. I've got some lovely things to tell you. But before I do that, I'm just going to put a pretty face on for you. Yeah, why not? I was out and about the other day and I came across these wonderful little sculptures. Don't know if you can see these strange little creatures. Some wonderful artist crafted these broken bits into something unique and mesmerizing. And I'd been conceptualizing this video, the idea of Kintsugi, making something beautiful out of our brokenness, and the idea of Brené Brown's vulnerability, because to me they're just the ideas dovetailed so beautifully. And I shared the sculptures and the idea with my son, and I said to him, I find them mesmerizing and captivating, and I'm very drawn to them. But what if people find them grotesque and really ugh? And he said, but Mom, beauty is within the eye of the beholder, and you find them beautiful, and they are mysterious and strange and evocative. So go for it. Go for it. I thought, yeah, and it really, that just resonated so powerfully with me, the idea of beauty residing in the eye of the beholder. And maybe most importantly, we must be beholding our own beauty, our own uniqueness, our own honoring ourselves. A while ago, I read this book, Kintsugi by Thomas Navarro, and he invites us to see emotional and psychological wounds in the same way as the idea of bringing broken bits together in a beautiful, fresh construction. He writes that life breaks us all, but healing is not about going back to who we were. It's about reconstructing ourselves stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient. And I suppose then we do become works of art. So our suffering and our mistakes and our heartbreaks, they're not reasons to shrink, but opportunities to grow. Is it easy? No, but that's okay. We just do it anyway. And as I consider this, I think more and more of the idea of masks and how we try and hide our brokenness and our fears. And we mask up, Brené Brown says, and we armor up. And the problem is we eventually lose sight of, or we lose perspective of where we end and the mask begins, and the armor sort of molds onto us until we don't even know we're wearing armor. And maybe we get a sense of protection. But the problem is then we are not really ever seen for who we are. I think we need to be careful of waiting for the repair. When I have, and I mean, haven't you fallen into this? I have so many times. I'll do it when I've lost a few pounds. I'll do it when I've finished the course. I'll do it tomorrow. The ever alluring tomorrow. And Pressfield actually warns us against that. Stephen Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, he warns us against the alluring tomorrow because it comforts us and it lulls us. I'll do it tomorrow. So we've got a feeling of, yes, I'll do it tomorrow. And then, mañana, that tomorrow just never comes until we're on our deathbeds, just full of nothing but regret. So seize the moment. We've got to carpe diem the hell out of life because it's never going to get any easier. The conditions are never going to be ideal. Things are never going to be perfect enough. We've got to step in, step up, warts and all. Tricky business. Tricky business. So, daring greatly speaks to the courage of showing up while still in progress. So, the messy middle is where I find myself, busy leaving an old life behind, but the new life hasn't quite manifested yet. And leaves one feeling a little exposed and uncertain and wondering. And I realize the more I think about this, and Brené Brown has recently reminded me as I've reread her book for the umpteenth time, that we don't thrive despite our flaws, but because of how we choose to grow through them. And I've climbed back on this vulnerability idea because I think it's really necessary for me to step into my vulnerability because it's holding me back. I think creativity is born from vulnerability. Creativity is born from being real and truthful with where we are. When I was a little girl, I was a funny kid, hey? Oh man. I remember we went on a school tour and in the evenings in the dining hall, I'd stand up. I'd do sitcom for the kids, and I remember that our principal teacher was crying with laughter and the kids were howling, and it was just lovely, and I felt so free and so alive in it, and it just came so naturally to me. And when we got back to school a week later or whatever, one of the teachers heard about my antics and asked if I would do a performance, for the class. And one of the little girls decided she was having none of this. Kids can be so cruel, eh? Oh, it's a bit chilly. Gosh, I'm not quite warmly dressed enough. And one of the kids, this little girl, Ingrid, informed the class not to laugh. Don't laugh at Michelle. Don't laugh, just sit. So I, hello puppy. So I ended up doing this, hello there. I ended up doing this, not a sitcom. What is it called? Anyway, the skit, whatever, comedy thing. And did I say sitcom earlier? Doesn't matter. Anyway, so I began my thing. And I was just faced with silence and deadpan, a sea of deadpan faces. And I tried and nothing. And the kids just sat and stared at me stonily. And then I turned to the teacher and I said, I can't do this. And I sat down. And that was the end. And that died for me. And it's sort of informed my life, and I'm 58, and it's just nonsense. And even now with this journey, I feel it's really difficult for me to speak without a plethora of notes. And look, I think it's good to be prepared, because you must honor the time of your lovely time. I mean, you've chosen to watch this, bless you, and thank you for that. And to just ramble on is not fair somehow. So this is me winging it a little bit and just trying to be free of that. I thought I'd just take a lovely constitutional and one of my favorite walks in my home's just down the road. So I suppose that's vulnerability. That's just owning the shame. Brené Brown talks about shame and vulnerability. I felt such humiliation and such shame, and it's haunted me for, well, all my life since that time. Sartre, Jean-Paul Sartre says, hell is other people. And I often wonder what he means by that. Because people are great by and large, sort of interacting with people. People are nice. And if you break down on the side of the road, some beautiful soul's going to come along and give you a hand, I think perhaps what he means is we're always going to be surrounded by people, and hell is the judgment of other people. No matter what we're doing, no matter what we're trying to achieve, we're always going to feel, hello there, hi there, we're always going to fear the judgment of other people, and that's never going to go away. So as I think, it's getting windy, it's getting breezy, just as well I've got my little cover on my microphone. I'm ready for the wind. So no matter, what the hell was I saying? Just show you a bit more of this beautiful view. How flipping stunning is that? So I think we best be loving what we do, and we best be liking what we do, and we best be enjoying what we do, because there's always going to be somebody in the peanut gallery with something to say, and it's not always going to be nice. So, it is chilly. I'm definitely underprepared. I should know better. But that's okay. It's brisk. I was chatting to my best friend this morning, and I was sharing, and I'm sort of taking this vulnerability thing for a spin and just slowly peeling off the masks. Because I even wear them around my best friend, not so much around my kids. I find I don't know. Anyway, my kids are just, God, amazing beings. I'm so blessed. So I'm taking my vulnerability for a spin, and I was sharing an experience I had with my friend, and the truth of what I really felt, which wasn't really that socially acceptable, what I really felt in the moment, I really struggled to say it. And what was so amazing is when I said it, she was, oh darling, she said, because she's so sweet, so loving. She had something to tell me. She could hold up a mirror, and instead of judging me, she just held up the mirror, and they were just showing me that there was more to explore. And there's a little bit of work to be done. And I got a little bit defensive, but we've known each other for a long time and walked some difficult roads together. But it just made me reflect how difficult it is to be vulnerable, to be real, to take the masks off. Because when the mask's off and then somebody rejects you, then you know that's you being rejected, not the mask. Oh, and what the hell anyway? Somebody rejects you, what's going to happen? You're going to die? No. God, I'm sick of being afraid. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of being afraid. I want to be real. God, I live in a beautiful area, beautiful place. So, let's get back, have a cup of tea. There's more to be said on the subject. See you later. I think one of the real challenges of vulnerability is it's often mistaken for weakness. And that's so untrue. And our transformation really begins when we can step into our vulnerability and our pain and nurture ourselves. So, definitely time for that cup of tea. So we embrace our vulnerability as strength. And when we're about to step up and do something and we feel all of the fear and the shame and we think about all the many terrible outcomes, we need to be reminded, love her, Brené Brown, of what it is to live wholeheartedly. And I'll read a couple of them to you here. Cultivating authenticity is letting go of what people think. Cultivating self-compassion, letting go of perfectionism. Cultivating a resilient spirit, letting go of numbing and powerlessness. Cultivating gratitude and joy, letting go of scarcity and fear of the dark. It's a lot of letting go. It's a lot of letting go. It's a lot of just letting go. In fact, let go, probably two of the most powerful words in the English language. And then just focus on getting a little bit better every day. So as I promised earlier, I have a really practical starting point for you. If our outer world reflects our inner world, then what are the piles of laundry, the unwashed dishes, and general clutter trying to tell us? They're like the broken pieces scattered about. The physical mess is like an emotional overwhelm. Keeping a clean, calming space is an act of self-compassion. It is not an act of perfectionism. It helps us to feel safe and worthy and ready to build. Start small. Clean one corner, one room, and build an environment that nourishes you and nurtures you and empowers you, and it makes an enormous difference. I mean, Jordan Peterson, isn't that his whole, the cornerstone of his ethos? Clean your damn room. He's so right. He's so right. I've seen it, when I've visited friends and helped them. This time last year, my best friend and I, she hired a skip and we dived into this huge workshop space that she's got, and we gutted it, and it was rainy and it was cold, and we worked and worked, and she felt at the end of it we just were collapsed, exhausted, but it was so satisfying and it was so empowering. And then I think, when we spring clean and we get things ordered and we curate our spaces, we forget about entropy, and that is the natural deterioration of things. It's like a universal law, and that is something we have to revisit continuously. I am on April school holidays at the moment, and over the next few days, I'm going to be jumping into a few spaces that have just deteriorated. And I find myself, where did I put that? I can't find, where's that? No, I can't be living like that. I need to know exactly where it is and hone in and pick it up, and there I have it. And it does empower me. Simple, 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 simple. So let's do this. Let's get it done. So what are the actionable steps from today? Acknowledge our brokenness. Acknowledge what's broken. Maybe write, journal, and think about the areas that are broken, and there's bits lying around that you keep cutting your feet on. Choose to reform. Choose gold. What have you learned from your past experiences? How can you reframe those past experiences as remarkable opportunities to grow? Tidy up, literally. Restore your spaces, make them sacred. And lastly, vulnerability is your power. Let yourself be seen. If you're finding value in today's content, please like and subscribe, and it would be wonderful if you left a comment and shared your thoughts with me, perhaps a little of your journey. I'd really love to hear from you. Thank you. And as always, remember that you are enough exactly as you are right now. Maybe need a little bit of reforming, reassembling, but you've got all the bits, you've got everything you need to step into the next glorious act, the next glorious chapter. You're worthy, you fit in, you belong. There's a place for you in this world. Yes, even for you, you funny bird lady. There's a place for you in this world. And we're going to be okay. See you next time.